glory fill this land. Lift high the King of Kings and great I am, Jesus. You are the way. You are the way.
Are we ready? Hello, and welcome to The Torch. I'm Pat,
Hi, I'm Kevin.
and are you ready to get involved?
I am ready to get involved. Miss Pat, I know that this is the 8th episode or 6th episode. Sixth episode, and it has flown by. Like we had felt like we just started this yesterday and already at the last one. But is there really ever a last one?
No, because I've already got plans for the next season.
Right, and we never the enemy does not take a break and the enemy's always working. So should we keep a watchful eye on what's going on? And being the torch from a Christian perspective, from the stance of a Christian, a godly person who's involved, politics matter.
Yeah, they do. You can't keep politics out of church.
So today, what is our episode? Now, we are going to come back right after Christmas, though, like in the new year, because we've got a lot of work to do before the midterms.
Exactly.
So
and this is a lead up, more or less, to that.
So we'll offer the turkey Thanksgiving, and then we'll be gone during the Christmas month as you're regrouping and stuff and preparing. A lot of other things are. There's candidates haven't even, they're just now registering, some of them probably.
Yeah, I think they have to do it by the end of December or something, sometime in December.
So really January when we come back, and it's going to be like all hands on deck, really.
Yeah, it'll have to be. And, today we're going to do something different, though.
I like different. Are we going to watch a show or
No.
a circus or something?
Well, it may turn into a circus.
Oh, am I? What are we going to do today?
You're going to ask the questions.
I am.
Yeah.
Well, fortunately, you gave them to me ahead of time, so I can't play dumb, about asking some questions. So tell us how the format's going to go, or
Okay.
a little bit about today.
Okay. What we're going to do is talk about the citizens of this country and how they can get involved into the workings of their government, local, state, and federal.
What you said? Their government.
That's right. It's their government.
Whose government? The politicians?
The people.
The
Me, and all.
the people that are watching, every one of those, that's their government.
That's right.
Would it be appropriate for them to take some ownership of their government?
Yes, I would say so.
Would the Constitution support and defend that right, is to take authority over their
Exactly.
government and do something about it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, we have such a special place here in the United States that we can call it our government, not just the king's government or the emperor's government.
No, it's our government.
By the people, for the people?
That's right.
By the people, for the people.
And they can get involved. No, they don't have to run for office. I wouldn't do that either.
So that would be probably some people's like, I want to get involved, but I don't think I can run for office. I've got 18 kids at home. Well, maybe not 18, a lot. I don't know where that came from, but a lot of responsibilities there. So they don't have to, but there's a lot of ways to be involved.
There's a lot of ways to get involved. There's there's a lot of behind the scenes thing. A lot of people go to the polls and then they suddenly sit down and look at that ballot and they think, I don't know what this is.
Right.
And that's what we're talking about here. Yep. We're rapidly approaching midterms. In March, as a matter of fact. And as Christians and citizens and voters, we need to be well informed in the workings of the government, of our government, what our rights are as individuals, and how to become informed voters.
And March is the different primaries for the different parties, right? So multiple people in the Republican, multiple people in a Democrat, and then you're supposed to go pick who you want then to run in November.
Right.
So
and it may not just be all federal. It could be federal, state, and local.
Down to the dog catcher.
Down to the dog catcher. It could be school board. It could be city council. It could be something for the county.
Right. And
And
there's a lot of places, actually.
yeah, there's a lot of places that could be on that ballot. So you need to know that ballot. So, you ready for your first question?
Yes. Are you done with your part?
Yeah, right now.
Your first part? Okay. So, Miss Pat, what's the first step in becoming an informed citizen?
Know your rights and your Constitution. For example, did you know that the Constitution was written to limit government? Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution is a list of the powers of the legislative branch of the government. Do you know how many powers they have?
Unlimited.
17.
17.
It lists 18, but the 18th one gives them the power to do the first 17.
So I thought the federal government was unlimited in power, scope, and taxing authority.
No. When the founders set this up on biblical principle. Remember how Moses had to divide things up?
Yes.
Same thing, or very similar anyway.
Right.
And so in order for somebody to really know the Constitution and their individual rights, they can go online and take courses. They can buy DVDs and take courses if they want to. If that's the way a lot of people like to learn that way.
You can practically get a little pocket Constitution for like $1. You know, you just get online the little paper ones, the little like just no frill one.
Yeah, you know, there's all sorts of ways like that you can do. There's also we do 2 classes.
Yes.
One of them is we can do over a weekend, a day and a half or 2 days, but it's 8 hours a day.
Right.
And it moves fast, and there's a lot of discussion and things like that. And
and you've done the in-depth one that's like 12 weeks long.
That's a 12-week one.
And that was a pretty good stint right there.
Yeah, and I know you're sitting out there looking at me saying, "Lady, I don't have that kind of time." Well, hey, can you spend 2 hours a week for 12 weeks to learn what you need to know about your country, about your rights as individuals in this country?
Would you say that one of the reasons why our country is in some of the mess we are in is because of the willful ignorance of its citizens?
Yes.
The citizens have the power to change any of it if they don't like it, but we stay ignorant of these things and just allow the politicians, the ones that people think own the government and own our lives, like socialist or communist kind of thing. If the citizenry knew, and I'm talking not just one here, one there, because then they still get trampled on by a government that's out of control, but when there's too many people that know their rights, do you think the enemy is behind the ignorance of our citizens?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're in a spiritual war. You know, this country has had 2 wars in this nation on our grounds. First was a Revolutionary War, which brought us to where we are now.
Right.
The second was the Civil War, which also brought us to where we are now.
Yeah.
Both of them were for freedom and liberty.
So it was to set people free, not to enslave them.
Right.
But there are people in our country right now, in our government, some of them elected to office, some of them supposedly elected to office, but were they really? That want to actually enslave people for their own means.
Yeah. You know,
I mean, that's just the nature of people, right? The evil, wickedness is always trying to put people in bondage.
well, it's called greed and power.
Yeah, well, that's true. It's the money is the root of all evil. It didn't say it is money, but I mean, it doesn't say it. But anyway, I told you I wasn't going to get too far off of that because you got a lot to cover today. So, so for becoming involved, the first thing you said was to know your Constitution.
Yeah, know your Constitution. And know your rights. You know, in one of the on one of the shows we did this time, I read a portion of the Declaration of Independence.
Yes.
Which said that the people in the government are governed by the people. Mm-hmm. I didn't say that right the first time.
That's okay.
They are governed by the governed, yes.
Right.
And that simply means that you and I have the right to look at that representative that we put into office and say, hey, I don't like what you're doing with that particular bill.
Right. I don't know. Some of these guys, they get into office and they all of a sudden think that I'm the one in charge.
And they're not. There's 3 branches to the government. I'll throw a little extra in here. Executive, legislative, and judiciary. Only one of them can make law. Do you know which one?
Judiciary, probably. They're doing a lot of lawmaking.
No.
No?
Those are not laws. Those set what they call precedents. Mm. They are not laws that are actually enforceable.
What president said when the Supreme Court issued a ruling of something that was actually out of their lane, out of their confines, that you don't have the purse or you don't have the military, come get me, or something like that? Coolidge or somebody like that?
Somebody like that, yeah.
Hancock or somebody's like, you don't have the purse strings, which is the money, and you don't have a standing army, come and do something about it. You didn't have the power. But they were trying to cross over out of the legislature into the duly, authorized power. But so how do they prepare for midterm elections? I mean, if getting to know the Constitution, number one.
Yeah, that's number one. But there's several things you need to consider in preparing for any election, not just the midterms. You need to know, in the first place, who and what is on the ballot. And you can download your ballot right offline.
I tell you, it's amazing how many people, and then we've done this before, didn't know what some of the stuff was on the ballot, got there, looked at it and go, and some of the language in those are very squirrely. Yeah, it sounds like you would want to put affirmative or yes, but it's really, you shouldn't. You should put no if that's what you, like if you agree.
If you agree with what they're saying, it's a yes. If you don't agree, it's a no.
But then some of them, they squirrel up the words a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And
would you not like us to raise taxes? Yes, no, I would not like y'all. Yes, I would like y'all not to raise taxes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's so you have to know it ahead of time.
I talked to somebody the other day, and what was their comment? Pat, they're going to raise our taxes. And I said, no. Where do you get that? Then she says, I hope I voted right. And I explained to her that they increased the exemptions on property, what she was talking about was property tax.
Well, and Greg Abbott, I don't know. I've got a little bit mixed reviews, but, we're just going to, we try to stand with the people, stand with, because there should be more good than there are not good. Mm-hmm. But I watched a press conference yesterday with him talking about his 5-step plan coming around this next one to help eliminate the property taxes, I guess, on this. You have to take baby steps towards that because the other side's too entrenched on it. You can't just go right at eliminate property taxes. You have to unwind it. So one of his thing was giving the citizens as a constitutional amendment the right to gather in their area and push back and decrease the taxes ability of the taxing authorities in the areas. That the citizens will hopefully have rights to, if there's 3/4 of the people in that area decide they don't want to pay that much taxes, they can decide to decrease it. And another one was force a constitutional amendment that every taxing jurisdiction must balance their budget and have a balanced budget, because Why are the taxes going up? Because they're mishandling the money that they're already getting. So there was a whole bunch of stuff about that. And so knowing like what's on the ballot and knowing how the wording is, printing one, it seems to be the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, you can print it out and you can read it and see what it says. You know, this person didn't do that, and she commented that, oh, I remember she was talking about the senior citizens getting their taxes raised. I said, I don't know where you found that.
Right.
I said, your house burns down and they're not going to make you pay your taxes. and if they're not doing that, they're certainly not going to raise other people's taxes. So,
right. Well, it's so much disinformation, and I'm going to say this: in some of the senior population, there is a lot of deception that goes on in that, because I think that sometimes seniors don't think that they have any part to play in all this anymore, and we need people that are
part of what I'm really,
presidents up in those years.
Yeah, part of what I'm really pushing is the seniors. Some of you, there's several groups that I know of, both men and women. Once a week, once a month, however they do it, they go trotting off to someplace, and here they sit with their coffee. This group of men or women or both, and they do their little thing every week. They go for coffee, and they sit there and gripe and complain about the government and that sort of thing, and then they go home. Well, what good did that do?
Right.
All it did was stress you out.
You got stressed out because you saw woe is me, instead of doing something.
Yeah, and I'm giving them, with this, I'm giving them an idea of what we're going to do next year.
Right.
And part of it is getting people to do something besides grouse around about it and be miserable.
Right. And we've said this several times. The one person out there that, not the one person, when you take people individually, well, I can't do all of it. Of course not. But if everybody did a little something, called the rep, you find one thing on the ballot, or something's coming up, call the representative, go down to the legislator, and go talk to them about it and make your voice heard. Yes, it's a little inconvenient. It's like, well, I voted them. They should know what I want because I voted for them.
What they can do,
yeah,
is in the first place, they need to know what's on the ballot.
Right.
And they need, if there is an incumbent that has already been in office, they need to check out what he or she has done while he was in office.
Very important.
Very important. What is their voting record? What kind of bills did they like or dislike, or what kind of bills did they set up? Because
the person who is the incumbent, aren't they always perfect when it's time to get reelected?
Yeah, but are they?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We have one particular one that we're watching in Texas that's like, now you've come out of the woodwork. Now all of a sudden you're not hiding somewhere. Now all of a sudden it's like, what about the times we reached out? What about the times when your phone was always off the hook? What about the time it's like, now you want the money, now you want my vote. What about the rest of the time you were there?
You ignored everything.
You ignored everything, and you actually voted with the opposition party on some things that were critical.
So, that's something that you need to find out.
Yeah.
It's important for you to make a wise choice. Wisdom counts in voting.
Oh man, wisdom does count.
The other thing is the incumbent. We're talking about the incumbent, but what about the newcomer running for an office? I don't care if it's local, state, or federal. Where'd this person come from? Have they just moved here? Where did they move from? What are their ideas? I mean, if they're a newcomer in this area and they're running for office, what is their platform?
Right.
What do they stand for? We've got a lot of people moving in from blue states.
And they didn't learn why they left their blue state, which is crazy. It's like, oh, this place is falling apart. This is the most terrible place on earth. Well, you made it that way. Then you want to come into a perfectly good place and turn it into the same garbage dump you left.
Yeah, and so these are all things that you need to consider. But
what if the people that they're watching are really smiley and clean cut, dressed nice, have a very charismatic, very hyper and like eloquent speech and stuff like that. And they just move the mountains and they promise a lot of great things. Should those be should we be a little bit even more cautious with those folks?
I have 2 words. Beware.
Beware, beware. It's like, oh, free housing.
That may be 1 word.
Maybe so. Free housing, free childcare, free food, free everything. We're just going to give it to you because you deserve it. Should we be careful again? Or is that another beware word?
No, that's another beware word. But how are they going to get into all this stuff? Where do they find this information?
I don't know.
I turned it around on you.
No, you turned it around. Well, right off the bat, iVotersGuide.com.
Yeah, that's one thing. But
Texas Values is another. I'm sure there's an Illinois Values and a Florida Values.
Yeah, there is. But you brought out something a while ago that it sounds like a lot of work.
It does sound like a lot of work.
But you know how to get around it? Form teams. We have power in unified voices. Every one of us belongs to some type of organization, whether it's church or, hey, the men's group that goes for coffee every Monday morning or whatever it is.
And they're probably griping about the coffee right now.
Probably. And there are also these senior centers where they go for recreation.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if they go there for recreation, they probably don't have a whole lot to do.
That's a good point.
And even assisted living, a lot of those people are there simply because they have difficulty doing things at home alone. But they still are real sharp.
My grandpa was in his 90s, and he was sharp as a tack. I would just sit here his memory was good.
Yeah.
He could remember, like when he was living on the Leon River. It's like, sharp. But he couldn't run a marathon anymore for sure, and he sat most of the time because he could not get around. But he would just like, Kev, if I could get up on that tractor, I could just get out there and plow my field. He couldn't get on this tractor anymore, but he would have been able to easily work. But that's, I guess, thinking about that, your body is starting to wear out, but your mind is still sharp. So what about those people? Are they able to make a phone call, you think, or
sure.
write letters?
Well, all you need is a group of people who can invest a little time each week. Not a whole lot. What they need to do is to, monitor what's going on in all areas of the government. Mm-hmm. They may have to attend a city council meeting. That doesn't mean you attend every city council meeting, because you can go online, you can go to the cities, and you can look up the agenda for the city council meeting. If there's something on there that you don't like, you can make arrangements to go in and talk to that city council. You only get about 5 minutes, but you can say a lot in 5 minutes.
Yeah, right. Because most commercials are 60 seconds.
Yeah, and so, always bear in mind, to be courteous and not.
Is it counterproductive for people to go in who are trying to bring the best and sit there and cuss out the city council?
Most definitely.
If you're trying to be the upper class or the more reasonable one.
Yeah, you need to be reasonable about what you're asking. I tell you stories of some of the things that happened, but we're limited by time, so I'll avoid that until next season. But you can attend these meetings.
Yeah.
You can follow what is going on in Congress, both at the state level and at the federal level, and what kind of bills they're putting up and what the discussions are.
Right.
Who's supporting those bills. And if you don't like what your congressman is supporting, or congressman or woman, you can write to him, you can call him, you can text him. Yeah, you're going to get to an aid.
Right.
But the more people who do that, the more you're going to find that some of these bills that are coming out that you don't like will go away.
Well, also, most other representatives have an office in certain regional areas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't have to go to, if it's a state, you don't have to go all the way down to whatever state you are as capital. You can go to their local offices too to talk, but you're most likely going to talk to an aide. You definitely want to be very polite, very courteous to the aide. You don't want the aide to accidentally forget the message.
You get a lot more with honey than you do with vinegar.
Right. And even though, like, if you, like some of these parents that have come up to the school boards and let the school boards know in a very passionate way that they don't want their 11-year-old to look at content out of their libraries that grown-ups shouldn't be looking at, but they did it in a way that was like a mama bear and a papa bear would before the people, but not the, go in with all the terrible cussing language and all that. Make it known that this is not going to end. You're going to do something about it. You're going to organize the people. Go ahead and like put them on notice, but you can do that in a way that's more of a, even like because we are the employers. We're the employers of these people. So we sit down and talk to the employees about their behavior and what they're allowing, and that if this goes on, or if they continue this, or they don't do something about it, then we're going to have to fire you.
Well, there was something I heard about. This couple they found out that they had young children.
Yeah.
I don't mean even teenagers. They were young children. And they found out that some of the stuff that they were seeing in school wasn't fit for a decent person's eyes. And this couple went before the school board, and the school board pushed it off. And so they went and they put together a whole group. They put together videos of what the kids were looking at, and they went to the school board. They made arrangements to speak, and so they went to the school board, and they set up the videos, and they showed them the videos, and the school board went ballistic. They said, "Oh, you can't show that to us. That's horrible stuff. That's pornography."
Right.
And they said, "This is what our children are seeing." They made their point in a very nice way. Well,
with facts, with receipts,
with everything they needed. They showed them what the kids were looking at.
I think it's when the new young people are saying, like, they bring the receipts with them, kind of thing. That's the new saying, bringing the proof, bringing the truth. Can you believe that I've seen several of those videos where the school board or the city council tries to shut down the parents for sharing what their minors looking at, and yet they don't want to look at it, and you can't show that in here, but yet you're doing. It's like, y'all have no problem with sitting in story time doing all this with these grown men dressed up and
and do you want your kids, your grandkids looking at it?
Right.
Turn it around.
Right.
But do it courtesy.
With courtesy, with respect. We have the upper hand anyway. We are on the Lord's side. And since we are in the kingdom of light, there is more of us than there are of them. And since greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world, we always will have the upper hand, but we have to do it with wisdom. Yeah. So where do people get all this information? Where do people go to? I mean, we talked about the Constitution. We talked about getting involved and preparing for midterms, elections, looking at the ballots, and it takes a lot of work to do those. Can we get a few places that people can go that will help them?
I've started a list of various different websites that they can go to. Of course, you can always start with ivoterguide.com because they do supply very good information.
Very, very good information.
And
so could they reach out at information@thechurchalive.com and put attention Pat, and may I have the list?
Yeah.
Can I ask for the list?
Yes, they can ask for the list. It's not quite complete yet, but and it's going to be mostly federal and state.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be it's mostly federal and Texas, because it's a little bit hard for me to cover all the states.
Well, if a lot of the other states model each other.
Yeah, they, and it would give the other states a clue as to how to search out
Yeah.
their own, because you can usually go to texas.gov or something like that to find what you want. And you could probably do the same thing with nevada.gov or
Right.
Ohio or whatever.
So if they get the list, it's just basically try taking out Texas and put in their state.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and of course, then I wouldn't even begin to think about cities. Just go to the city website, and you can pick up the usually city council or however your particular city is run.
Yeah.
Different cities, and same thing with county.
So that's just it's almost like. Can I make a suggestion?
Hmm.
If you are somebody that has a things to do list or some kind of agenda list that you keep up with in order to get everything done, we have to live by lists, myself and my wife and stuff, because of many things that we're doing. And you know what? I'm happy that we get to do all these things. I'm happy to be busy. It's okay. People are like, oh, I'm just so busy. Well, it'd be better to wear out than rust out, like Jesse Duplantis would say. Busy is okay as long as you're being productive with getting things done, especially kingdom business, And God cares about politics because politics are about policy and policy is about people, and He cares about people. So for anybody to say, well, I can't get involved in that because it has to do with politics. Well, you're missing the point of what politics are about. And so if you have a things to do list, if you get it on a list or you get it on the calendar, you're like 95% more sure that it's going to get done at some point than if you just, I'll take that advisement, I'll get back to it later.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. And there's no way we can cover all the details.
No.
In this time frame. But what people can do now is start prepare their teams. Mm-hmm. Form your teams now and get to know the people within the teams and what their specialty is.
Right.
Some people are great on the telephone.
Mm-hmm.
Others are great at writing letters, emails, texts, what have you. Others are great on the computer to do research.
Right.
And you just need to find those people and start working with them so that you have this wonderful team that can not only help you, but the people around you. Maybe you can build a team in the church, and then you can go into church and tell them what you found, the whole church, and tell them what they found.
Is there, if they are just like Miss Pat, I just don't have time to form a team, I could give an hour or two every couple of weeks, or I could serve, a Saturday a month. I just can't form the team. Is there organizations out there that I could just sign up and go be a part of their team, their infrastructure, and be hands-on? Is there people across the country that probably have
you can pick up a lot of information. Well, like I said, I don't know. Well, yes, like iVoterGuide.com is begging for volunteers to do research and stuff like that. And I'm sure there are others out there. I know some of the denominational churches have voter guides.
Yes.
And they, they could possibly volunteer with them. You might even, if you're in your church, you might even approach your pastor about it.
Yeah.
Because, hey, guys, pastors, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. You got to quit hiding behind your pulpit and come out.
Miss Pat, you're making me nervous now. I don't know if I want to get up behind the pulpit.
This isn't a pulpit.
That's true. That's true. I'm not hiding behind a pulpit. We haven't been hiding behind the pulpit since before you knew us. So I don't understand how pastors cannot be involved. You're leading your people, and they're living in their community that will get affected by politics.
It will.
Yeah.
And you, the people, you can't hide behind your pastors either.
No.
I don't hide behind him. He only gets in the way.
No, yeah. So if I try to put Miss Pat in her place, that's not a good good idea. You know, I'm gonna look at where this system is, Miss Pat.
Okay, you do that. I'm going to carry on.
We're right there, so we better wrap things up.
But the church, the church can't be silent any longer. And who is the church?
We are.
We are the people. The people. We need to not be the silent majority any longer. We need to overcome our complacency and make our voices heard. We need to roar.
Amen.
Loudly.
Loud.
You know, in light of, and this I'm going to read because it was something that came to me just before I left.
Okay.
I do things like that. I think God did that. He handed it to me in a text. In light of the outcome of some of the recent elections in a few of the predominantly blue states and cities, it shows the spiritual battle we are in has become undeniable. It's time for the church to wake up. And who is the church again? We the people. It's time for us to speak out. We can't just sit back and depend on our leaders in Washington, D.C., bless you, and expect everything to work out in our favor. Sadly enough, many voters are choosing candidates without understanding what they really stand for, what those candidates really stand for. This nation was built on biblical principles, freedom of speech. Now we have promises of free everything except freedom. If we don't stand up for our rights and our freedoms, we lose what we lose. Is that what we really want? And I'm going to read you about 3 or 4 scriptures here that I think kind of says it all. The first one is in 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sin and I will heal their land.
I will.
And our land needs to be healed. The second is 2 Chronicles 3:17. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. And this nation was built on that Spirit.
Yep.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children. And that's in Hosea 4:6.
So a lot to think about. So if you need some more information, you want to make contact with us, make a comment anywhere that these videos are showed, in whatever platform you're on, you can leave comments. We check all the comments and that kind of stuff. But if you want to, just send an email straight to us at information@churchalive.com. That's where all the emails go for the Alive Media Network, the school, and everything else go there. So if you want to, if you need to ask questions, have some ideas or whatever, you want Miss Pat to get these things, and then she can respond to you at that point from there. So thank you, Miss Pat, for hosting another I said at the beginning of this, before we even started, this was going to be the most powerful one yet. And I think this is the most powerful, easy to follow, focused torch we've ever done. The Lord is behind it. The Lord is with us. He wants us to get the truth out, whether it's politicals, whether it's biblical. I mean, it's all tied together. I mean, it's all tied together.
It's like your body. Everything's connected.
Yeah. So some things we do that's real, we don't really, because we'll talk about scriptures and healing and sometimes it's all tied together. So final words, final thoughts?
Yeah, final thoughts. I had one last one here. It's Psalm 11:3. If the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? Well, I've just told you what the righteous can do. So do it for God and country. If we don't, who will?
Right. We don't want the foundations to get destroyed. So we have time. Father, thank you so much for allowing us to be able to get before the people. Thank you, Lord, for bringing this church, this ministry, this organization, and all of it shows, all of it, all the podcasts and everything that we're doing. Thank you for allowing us to have the platform to speak to people here in this country and all around the world. There are people in similar situations in their own country and organization, and being respectful, but following, their system, and doing something about it. God, you have never called the people anywhere on earth to be in bondage. You've always called us to freedom in Jesus. So that is the pinnacle and foundation of why we're doing what we're doing, is for freedom. Lord, we love you. We thank you. We ask you to bless your people out there watching this in Jesus' name.